Soul Kin. Welcome back to Carmela Soul Academy with Carmela today. And again, I just wanted to come with a little morning message. I usually do these morning messages for myself, so I'll like record them like on my phone or something and be like, give myself a pep talk, just so that I can manage and flow through my day. But I was like, why not just share them. So it's me talking to me, and anyone who will, identify with these aspects of myself that I am sharing with you all. So that feels really good and healthy. A couple of things I wanted to talk about today were vilifying yourself. I have a tendency to do that just because of my past and things I've experienced in the past, things that, I'm not so incredibly proud of. You know what I mean? Unpleasant things and the ways that I've caused unpleasantries in other people's lives, or the experience of knowing that something that I have done has caused the sensation of pain. And one of the things that I've been doing and I've been noticing is just noticing. And noticing all the ways in which I vilified myself and for what reasons. And then noticing how much pleasure and compassion is available to me there in that space, ready to be integrated. I vilify myself because I feel compassion. I feel remorse for what I have done. And the beauty about that is the well of love and compassion that is just waiting there, available to be obtained. And when you notice when you're vilifying yourself, you'll see all the ways in which you put yourself on this tiny, tiny, tiny little pedestal. And you're standing there on one toe trying to balance all these thoughts and gestures amongst, who am I? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Is this my identity? And you're choosing the very, very, very quote unquote worst about yourself to identify with, because our societal mind enjoys putting, or not putting, but isolating ourselves from the rest of the group. Our societal mind says, I am an individual, which is true. You are an individual aspect of source. However, you are an individual aspect or iteration of source that is experiencing a very unique flavor of the collective for the purpose of experiencing it, for the purpose of manifesting it, for the purpose of showing how possible it is to obtain within our physical reality. That is what is happening, and we're all experiencing these on having this experience on varying levels to varying degrees. Some very, very extreme, some not as extreme, or what human beings have deemed to be extreme, right? Because we have our there's a very clear difference between what like human beings think is very extreme and like, oh my god, this is immoral, this is impossible, to what the infinite believes is possible. There's a huge difference. Huge. So the importance of noticing those places in which you vilify yourself. One of the most important things you're going to be facing on your evolutionary path is love of self, compassion of self, and integrating these very challenging moments into your heart consciousness, into your inner heart, and redirecting them into the flow of natural love. And it's funny because I wanted to say universal love, but the word natural was just like, I have to get out. Natural love, which is super, super beautiful. It's super compassionate. It is super loving. It is I understand. It is, I get it. And this is not to say, hey, I get it, so that behavior is fine. We're going to go do that all over again. We're going to ride that ride. No, that's not what it's saying. Natural love is saying, because you have experienced this, and because you experienced both the joy and the compassion and the guilt and remorse and the shame of this, we can integrate these polarities and move forward with wisdom. Moving forward with wisdom is the most important thing you can do, and it also helps release that need and that desire to vilify, to say this person is bad, or I'm bad, or bad, 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 bad. I should be this, that. You know what I mean? We have a tendency to do that, even on minor things, even on very small happenings that, are seemingly inconsequential. So the important thing to know is that when these experiences are making their way into your consciousness, into your conscious mind, not even if they're coming through as a physical experience, just something more internal, the reason why it's showing up is because it's asking for integration. It's asking for love from you. It's asking for forgiveness. Forgiveness is a threshold. Forgiveness is a door that you must open. So it's really, 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 really beneficial to notice where you vilify and to create love in that space, to create honor in that space, and to create release in that space, And that's going to look different for everyone. What happens when you have someone who enjoys, the things that they have done in a sense that they want to do them again, What happens when you have someone who just wants to be the villain? What happens when you have someone who just can't understand the role of being the villain, or the role that they have played of being the villain in their own life? And we all have. And it's actually a very, very important part of our integration. It is. It's part of the process, and it kind of sucks to feel that and to hold that and to understand that you have been that. But the integration process, the alchemy that comes from that, the wisdom that comes from that is just incredibly unmatched. And you'll know that you're fully working through the cycle when you can return to natural love, to universal love, to love of self, to honor of self, and to releasing those clutches, the addiction to the trauma, the addiction to the bullying, the addiction to the self-loathing. The more and more we release that, notice it and release it, the more and more we stretch and open our capacity for compassion and for love and for joy in all of its resonances. And the more we can wake up and notice that the world that we live in, the solar system, the galaxy, the infinite that we live in, is all working in tandem for our highest expression on this timeline and in other timelines too. It is all working together for our highest expression, for the highest expression of its own self, which we play a role in as well. So once you integrate that and notice that, that is full. That is just, there's a feeling in my belly where it's just like freedom. Like it's my sacral root chakra. There's so much security and uniqueness and honor and presence in that, in knowing that everything that you have experienced thus far no matter what it has been, has led you to the very moment that you find yourself in today. And in that moment, you can move forward with universal love and know that your life has been beautifully designed for you to excel, and your life has been beautifully designed for you to expand your awareness and your level of consciousness, and your life has been beautifully designed for you to allow more love in, and to experience more love, and to want to give it away and give it out in buckets, and the feeling in my heart right now, I wish I could translate what that feels like. It's such a deep sense of peace, of making peace with it, and making peace with all the times that I've been asked to play the villain, or I unconsciously or unknowingly was exploring a vibrational range that was stretching my capacity in disguise, and I didn't notice it. I thought I was just a bad person, and I just do bad things, and that's who I am. And, that's what life is, and cool. That, I guess that's how I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? Or that's how I'm gonna live my life, and I'll live my life with that sword, or I'll die by it too. And once I figured out, whoa, that's totally not true, and human beings are, in everything in nature, because we are nature, are designed to evolve and change, and they're not designed to stay the same, and they're not designed to be locked into permanence based on past expressions. It was like, oh, whoa, whoa. And then you start seeing the changes, and then you start feeling and seeing the effort, and then you start seeing and communicating with the world around you. And then you just start opening up. And you just open. And you open and you open. And things come back around again, so that they can go through that door too. They're like, oh, energy is being released over here. Energy is being freed. Energy is moving. That's amazing. I want a part of that. So, yeah. It's okay to understand the points in your life where you've been the villain or the bad guy, etc., etc. And it's also okay to find compassion within the grief and the guilt and the remorse and move forward from there. Actually, it's probably your best option. We have this idea, especially like with cancel culture and everything, that in order for someone to take accountability for who they are, they must live with the guilt of all the things that they have done thus far. And living with guilt for the rest of your human life, that is a sorrow and a horror so much worse than a painful death. So much worse than being locked away in a physical prison, or having something tragic happen, or, being locked on the inside in guilt and shame is a prison, is a hell so much worse than anything that could happen to your actual physical self. So it's so important that we realize how powerful of a threshold both guilt is, and forgiveness and compassion too. Those are two doorways. Think about it. Open the door of guilt and you see all the skeletons and the shadows and the scary things. But eventually you're going to have to get to the other side. You're going to have to get to the other side. And what is on the other side of that is a light. And it is universal love. And it is compassion. That's the only thing that is there, is release. The only thing that is there is release. So release. Feel comfortable in what you're experiencing. Feel comfortable in what is bubbling up. Give it its time. Give it its time to bubble up, to surface, to move through, and to move out. Notice. When I say notice too, I really, really want it to be understood that noticing is releasing your judgment of it. So say you're in your mind, in your mental space where you sort through energy in order to release and integrate. When you notice a memory that's coming up, say you punched somebody in 7th grade, and that is something that holds you hold a lot of guilt about that right now. You're thinking, oh, this person, they probably hate me, they probably think all these terrible things, I did something so horrible to them, etc., 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 all the things that come up. Just notice how you feel in the moment. You don't have to attach all of these ideas to it, which is what we're naturally doing. We're naturally attaching all these ideas to it. So notice how you think about the memory, and then you begin to attach. And you say, but this, and 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 this. That's how you attach. So taking it a step further is where you detach and you notice what you're feeling. You notice the energies move through you. You notice the joy that you got out of punching that person because maybe they were a jerk. Or maybe you just got pleasure out of punching them because it was just fun to punch someone. Maybe it was helping you to release some deep-rooted anger and deep-rooted inadequacy that you felt. There are so many options that it could have been. There's so many reasons as to why something like that could transpire. And you push past the reasoning and you experience. You push past the reasoning and you notice. You notice. You notice. And you let it be. And once you let it be, you let it go. And you return to forgiveness. And you return to love for all parties, for all involved. You release, you notice, you release, you notice, you release. Try that practice today. Notice and release. Go back to a memory that you can handle that's not too activating is the word. I was like looking for the word and they were like activating. We got you. They always got me. Activating, and sit with it and notice it. And notice how you feel. And just notice the words that are coming up. Don't attach an emotion to it. Don't attach an idea. Just notice what they are. Observe them. Observe. Alright. That is what I will leave this iteration with today. Thank you so much for sitting with me. That is so healthy. I feel like I'm going to cry. I can feel all that energy kind of like swirling and moving through my chest area. And it's really nice to feel that movement. So, yeah. Love you all so much. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.